welcome back to my channel. We have a new member of the family. This is Emery Marie. She's just perfect. We just got done eating, so we're gonna burp while I chit chat. So let's just start with, I'm 37 weeks pregnant, 37 weeks in a day. Friday, December 29th, we went in to our Sioux Falls appointment. We are going there every week because she was fetal growth restriction, so they just had to measure her size, and every week was looking really awesome. Every 2 weeks they did a growth scan, so they would do her weight and like lengths of things, and then every other week they measured like my placenta and the umbilical cord. Everything was looking fine. We had been going for like 6 weeks. So then this Friday, on the screen as they're doing the ultrasound, I see every single measurement is less than 1%. And it like showed her final weight, and she had only gained 4 ounces in the 2 weeks since the last time we did a growth scan. So the nurse left, or the ultrasound tech left the room, and I like looked at Cole and I was like, this isn't good. Like, she didn't grow at all. They come back in and they're like, your doctor has a note. So my eye doctor here in Spirit Lake, and my doctor had a note on there to ask about an induction, just because if they wanted to all be on the same page. And as far as we knew, we were planning on getting induced on January 12th or so, when I was 39 weeks pregnant. Well, they come in and they're like, yeah, let's do that around 39 weeks. And then Cole goes, well, her weight, like she only gained 4 ounces in 2 weeks. Like, is that something to be concerned about? And they're like, oh, let me go look at the numbers. They didn't even look at the numbers. So the doctor comes back in and she was like, yeah, you're having this baby this weekend. You can either do it tonight at 7 p.m. or tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. here in Sioux Falls. Just because if she needed the NICU, then we don't have a NICU here in Spirit Lake. So we were like, well, we're not getting up at like 5 in the morning to drive to Sioux Falls. So we decided we'll go home. We didn't bring our hospital bags or anything like that. I don't know why we didn't plan for that. I just was assuming she would be born in January, not December. So we drove home, got our bags packed, got everything ready to go with the dogs, and then we went back that night, and I started the process of getting induced. So they gave me Cervidil, I think that's what it is, and that was in for 12 hours from 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. Around 2 a.m., once that was in, I started having contractions, and they weren't like consistent or like the same length in time and intensity, but I was having them. So from 2 a.m. till 8 a.m. I just was having contractions. I didn't sleep very much at all. Then 10 a.m. that morning, they started me on Pitocin to make my contractions stronger. The Pitocin started, my contractions just consistently got more strong. They broke my water at 1. So like I was just hanging out, going through contractions, whatever. So they broke my water at 1. And then they just kept checking me throughout the day. I was started at like 2 centimeters in the morning, and I was like 5 centimeters probably around like 3 or 4 p.m. Finally got to 6 centimeters, maybe like 8 that night. But I think I got an epidural at 3-ish, maybe it was 3 or 5, I can't really remember. But my contractions were so bad because of the Pitocin that I was like, screw this, I need an epidural. And so I got that, and I had some sort of reaction to it. I was so itchy everywhere, so they had to give me Benadryl. Well, that knocked me out. So like whenever I got the epidural until like 10 p.m., I was like in and out of sleeping, like, so I don't even remember the contractions and all that kind of stuff because I was like half asleep. So then that night, it was getting really late, they kept checking me, and her heart rate kept dropping. So like every contraction, she just was not handling my contractions well, so her heart rate would dip super low. And like the OB would come in and check me, and I think it was like 11 o'clock. I was 7 centimeters. They were switching my positions, like, because they were like, okay, she might be on the cord, maybe that's why her heart rate's dropping. So they just kept switching my positions, and nothing was working. Nothing was helping her heart rate get back up. And so the OB was like, you know, we're just going to get the OR prepped for a C-section, but I'm not saying we're going to do that. And I was so gung-ho on having a natural birth, but I just knew with the induction, like being really forced, that maybe a C-section would be something that had to happen. So I just told her, like, I just remember saying, like, if this is the safest way to get my baby out, then go ahead. I'm okay with whatever. So like 20 minutes later, she's like, checked me again. I was still 7 centimeters. They flipped me on my hands and knees and I started bleeding. And so they were like, all right, to the OR, we're doing a C-section. I'm terrified. I was like so scared. I was shaking uncontrollably. So they get me back there and I just wanted Cole. I was like, where's my husband? So finally, within 10 minutes from when they decided to do the C-section until she was born is how long the C-section took. So it felt like forever though. So I remember being back there and I could just, the whole C-section happened. I couldn't feel the pain, but like I could feel them like taking stuff out of my stomach, taking her out. It was so wild. But then as soon as she was born, my heart rate started just dropping like crazy. As soon as they took her out, like I heard her cry and I was just bawling. I was like, thank God she's okay. She's like safe, whatever. But as soon as that happened, my heart rate just completely dropped, and I don't know, something with the anesthesiologist like gave me something too fast. I'm not sure. So that dropped and I started throwing up. I was so nauseous. They had to give me like 3 different drugs to try to get me to stop throwing up. So like I never even, like they didn't put her on my chest or anything like that because I was so out of it. They ended up giving me Haldol, which is like a psychotic drug. And so I was super out of it and I had no idea what was going on. And then when all that was happening, they were trying to distract Cole. They're like, come take pictures of her, like blah, blah, blah. Like they said her weight and all that, but Cole's also like hearing in the background, this is an emergency situation. So like what was going on with me? So they kicked him out of the OR. So he's like terrified. My mom was in our room that we were laboring in. She's terrified because no one knows what's going on with me and I'm in there by myself then. It was just wild. I thought I was dying. I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even get to see her and I'm dying. Finally though, like they got me all like fixed up and I stopped throwing up, and so they put her on my chest and she latched immediately. Like it was amazing, but I don't really remember. I just know she latched immediately. I don't remember holding her, seeing her the first time because I was so out of it on the drugs I was on. So they brought us to the room we were originally in and we were there for a couple hours, and then they brought us up to postpartum, and we had new nurses and we had a newborn and I had to figure out what the heck I was doing. I'm just so lucky that breastfeeding was super easy from the get-go for us, but I had no idea how difficult recovering from a C-section would be. I obviously couldn't do much because I had an epidural, so I couldn't like walk very well. It took me a while to get up and move in, and then going to the bathroom was painful. Like I couldn't sit up on my own, and even now 2 weeks postpartum I'm struggling to do a lot of stuff on my own because I'm just so sore. But it was wild. I mean, there's so many details I probably am forgetting, but the wildest part was being in the OR and like they're weighing her, cleaning her off, and then in the background the OB and the anesthesiologist are arguing, yelling at each other like, emergency situation, husband needs to go. And so I'm just scared like I'm dying, and it's terrifying. But all is good. We're healthy. We have she was 4 pounds 3 ounces, 17 3/4 inches long, little baby girly. So because of her size, the NICU cutoff was 4 pounds. She barely made it. So with her size, they had to do blood sugar tests and temperature tests all throughout, like for the 24 hours. And I just feel like we had to get checked on a lot more than probably would have if we had a normal size baby. The nurses there were like not used to seeing babies this small because they obviously go to the NICU if they're right around her size. So we just got very lucky. She didn't need anything. She didn't need any help. Like it was great. We did have to supplement the first few days with a high calorie formula, but that's just because my milk wasn't quite in yet. So the colostrum was great, but it wasn't enough for her weight. Then as soon as we got home, My milk came in like the next day, which that is a whole thing that makes you very emotional as well. And we've just been rolling with it. It's been a journey. We are very tired. We don't sleep very much, but she loves her daytime naps. So we have this bed set up on our couch. I have my nursing chair out here. And so I just sit out here all the time. I nurse her, rock her, and then we nap together on the couch. So Cole's set us up. He goes back to work this week, and so I'm gonna be home by myself. I know I can do it. I have so much support with my friends and family, but it is a wild journey being a new mom and having a baby that's also super tiny and has special things that need to happen. Like, we've had to go to the doctor so many times for her weight checks, and she's got to be over 5 pounds now. 2 weeks postpartum, which is amazing. They expect the babies to be back at birth weight by 2 weeks. When we left the hospital, she was 4 pounds. And then when we went to our last check, she was almost 5 pounds. So she's doing amazing. Oh, you don't want the passy. And she's hungry all the time. So as soon as I'm done with this, we are gonna eat, which is awesome. But I just wanted to share my story because first time mom, you have all this expectations and like you have all these things that you want to happen. I wanted a natural labor and birth, and I was hoping that my water would break and I'd go on my own, but you know, God's plan. She's here, she's safe, she's healthy, and I can't complain about any of that. So we are just surviving, that's all. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to share more mom life videos and whatnot another time. Bye.